like in 1925. See, little old bitty thing. Hey, look. But it's been around a long time, okay? Then here is a composition notebook from, and somebody cut pictures out of the catalog and did their schoolwork out of the catalog. Here is a graduating class from 1929. Look how they're dressed. See, all the girls had the fancy hairdos. Okay. Now here is a picture of the back of the old grammar school burned. I don't know if any of you have ever seen a picture of the school. I think I have one here, but that's the back of it. And this is some ladies that went to school at the old block building. I got a better picture of that. Let me show you.
And I will make copies of some of these pictures so you can see them closer up a little later.
Oh, fine. Now, do you all realize that Center Point School, Skirham School, Painter School, all are feeder schools into Crossville School?
They don't know what feeder schools are. Feeder schools are when you go to elementary at one school, and when you get done, then everybody moves to high school at a different place.
And here was the junior high school that burned, in elementary school. It was elementary one time, part of it. And it burned. Here is the kids that were going to school at Union Grove, just up the highway. And when they decided to have a school here at Crossville, now here is a picture of, I think that's Center Point. So that's where the kids went to school before they came to Crossville. Let's see. Here is part of the brick building, the block building. It was a two-story building, had 4 classrooms and a big old hall in it. And the blocks for this school were made down here at Mr. Ben Jones' mill. Okay. The first football team. Okay, here's the old gym. Those guys, look at their uniforms. We're standing in front of the old gym that burned. John Briggs Holbrook shot the last shot basket in the old gym and shot the first basket in the new gym. This one down here. That's the old block building that was 2-story. We had the first lunchroom in that building. Then it was auditorium and then a lunchroom and then a bedroom. And then the bedroom moved into the back of the gym, upstairs. There was a house that sit right down here that the principals lived in. This is made in front of the school, and a house was sitting right down here. Mr. Redden and Mr. Stone and Mr. Naylor all lived in that house. And there was a blacksmith shop across the street. How about that? How about them apples now? Here's a picture of one of the football teams with a wooden fence around the ball field. And there was a house sitting at the end of the ball field where the Stanfields lived. Out there where the trees used to be, there was a house out there. Okay, now, this is an old building that used to sit right out there. and it had a classroom in it. Right over here is a classroom. You can see the desk and teachers standing in there.
Now, all these buildings were the schools before this school was ever built. They were right out here. They built this school newer in front of these. So these were the first schools that were ever here.
And this is the old restroom.
Mr. Burke, can you come to the office, please? Mr. Burke, come to the front office.
Now, remember in the story that we're reading, what kind of bathrooms did they have?
Babies.
That's
outhouse.
okay. And here's the inside.
Oh.
And take care of what you have, okay? Now, here's another, we had a bank before I was born. And that's the side of the bank, I think, right there. It's made out of the same kind of blocks that the old school building was made out of. And it was up across the highway from where the bank sits now.
Is that the one that was supposed to be in Dino's front yard?
It's
Right
out,
where Fred's kind of right in through there?
it was to the left. If you're looking at Fred's, it would be to the left at the end in that vicinity.
Kind of right there
By the
somewhere.
parking lot. Now, I know some boys that used to play on the slab where the ball was. Okay, now, here's the inside of a grocery store. And I think that was over at Skirm. Just, right over,
So
right
this
over
would
the
be
road.
what your grocery store would have looked like.
Look like one.
The church here in Crossville was established in about 1923, I think, maybe 23. And the only church, or the closest church to Crossville, was at Union Road. When they came to the school and decided to build a church, and this is the church they built, and it's down where Rick, help me,
Okay, where it's Skirl?
upholstery place then.
Burke.
Rick Burke's
Burke.
upholstery place is right along in there. And then, of course, this is the new church that sits down here on Highway 68. Highway 68, yep. Now, my great grandfather established the mail route from Rome, Georgia to Gunnersville. There's that picture. And he drove the stagecoach with the mail. And that's the man right there now that drove the stagecoach and carried the mail. He gave the land for the Copeland's Bridge Church down in the valley. He built the first bridge at Copeland's Bridge. He played the fiddle, and when he got to where he was going to spend the night, it took about 4 days to carry the mail on that route. And when he got there, he would play the fiddle. And one of his sons would blow the trumpet when they got to the stage stop. You've seen westerns where they have a stage stop and they blow the horn and all that stuff. Okay, my great-granddaddy had the first post office in Crossville. And it was in his home. They kept the mail in a trunk. Okay? Okay. But that's where the first post office was. All right, my grandfather carried first Route 1 here in Crossville, and that's his mailboat. And I think this picture was made in front of the GW Justice store. I do have one where you can see the name on the store with him in front of it, but I think that it was made, and they used to pick cotton. And somebody's figured their cotton weights on the back of this picture. Okay, let's see. Up at the experiment park, they used to have a Quonset hut. You know what that is? One of those round buildings. And that's where we had all of our parties. We used to party up there. And that's the inside of it. And somebody has on the back band banquet. But I don't ever remember going up there for a band banquet. But we may have. But that's the inside of the Quonset hut. Okay. We used to have a theater and a hotel, and this right here is the hotel. We had a telephone system, and the switchboard was in the hotel. Have you ever seen one of the ones where it was on the board like this, and they plugged in to get late to the front? That's the kind of switchboard they had in the old hotel. And that's the picture of band parade.
Was that band parade up through town here?
Well, it was homecoming or
I mean, through
Christmas.
Crossville,
Yeah,
town
through
of Crossville.
Yeah, there's no football to this. Here, okay. Here's the picture of the old block school building. That was the first one. And that's the blocks that was made down at the mill. This is the first marching band. There was a lady here in Crossville gave Mr. Reagan $50. And he went down to Edinburgh High School and bought these blue coats from their old uniform. And that's what we wore when we first marched. And I'm right there. So I've been here a long time.
What year was that, Crossville's first band? About?
Well, this says first band uniforms 50-51. And I've been out of school 54 years. Hey, the library used to be down on the other hall. I've run these halls. Oh, hey, I went to school here 12 years. And I've been on every plank, I think, out in those halls. Okay? But here is another picture of a football team. And see the old wooden bleachers? And you can see a little bit of fence. I used to go home for lunch. I just lived right over the way, right here. And I used to go home for lunch and I'd go across the football field and move a plank on the football field and crawl through it to go in. Okay, you can see the football. Pass that around. You can see the fence good on that.
Be careful
it's
with
not
it.
it's not a good picture, but you can see the fence there. And okay, there's Skirham Junior High School, and the kids that went to school there came across. Let's see. Now, let's see. My great-great-grandfather grandfather moved to Crossville in about, well, in the 1800s. And he was appointed overseer of the roads. Hey, we didn't have any blacktop. I remember when they blacktop 68. I used to ride a bicycle down the hill over here on Justice Street in front of the school. Let's see. These ladies went to school at Union Grove, and there was a group of ladies that stayed at the hotel and came to school out here. They didn't have a way, and if they went anywhere, they had to borrow somebody's truck, if there was a truck. Okay? Didn't have buses, so they stayed at the hotel and came to school. Questions?
All right, Kenneth, speak up, make sure y'all
Yeah,
speak loud.
let me hear.
Why did your parents select the name for you?
Okay,
My name is Patricia Lee Shipp, better known as Pat.
and why did you, he's wondering if there's any reason, did your parents pick that as a family name, or you named after a relative, or?
No, they just chose that name for some reason.
Okay,
Here's a baseball team. Oh, go ahead.
What is your earliest childhood memory? What's your earliest childhood memory?
Probably playing in my yard. That's I played outside a lot, and that's one of the ball teams, baseball teams.
Brooklyn.
How were your holidays?
My mother was a great cook, and we always had real good food for holidays, and sometimes we would have company for holidays. We didn't go places much, but we had company and had a lot of good food.
Joe?
What was your school like for you as a child?
Loved it. I could go to school year-round. I'd read a book every day. Mother'd say, "Pat, do so-and-so, let me finish this paragraph." I read all the time. Let me tell you this one. The president, I guess, of the bank that was up at East End had some discrepancies in the finances up there, and he went home and shot himself. Go ahead.
Do you remember any fads of your youth?
Any what?
Fads of your youth, popular hairstyles and clothes?
What was in
The bee-
style?
The beehive. How do you explain the beehive? The bouffant, beehive, a lot of hair. Ooh, yeah.
Did you? What was your favorite sport?
I've taught softball for 26 years. My brothers played football right out here and played baseball. They used to play baseball down at the Legion Field, down behind the Baptist church. And they played all over.
Are there any stories about famous or infamous relatives in your family?
Well, I'll tell this story. Infamous. One of my great-granddaddy's sons' wife died, and they thought he killed her. he took off to Texas, found out that the housekeeper killed her, and my great-great-grandmother went to Texas to see the son, and she got sick and died out there, and she's buried in Texas. See, a long time ago they didn't have a way to bring bodies back, and they just had to bury them. Yes?
When and where were you born?
It was less than a quarter of a mile from here, right down this street.
Like what year?
1936.
Yeah, that's the same date that your speaker was born, isn't it, Joe?
What?
Speak up, Ian.
She might not remember it anyway. But
Well, ask.
Yeah, ask me.
do you know when the first jail was built?
Oh, they've been hearing me talk about the jail.
You know what? It was before my time, okay? That's been a long time ago. But now, this book right here might have that in there, but I have not found it. Now, here's the first football team. Let me see. Okay, that's the school.
If she finds out, she'll let us know, Ian.
I can ask and see if I can find out.
Brooklyn, you got a question?
What?
How is the town today different from what it was like when you were a child?
Okay. We had a grocery store on the corner where Chantel's beauty shop is, that later turned into a bowling alley. Right below that business was Dr. Irwin's dental office. We had a dental office here. On the corner where the diner is was a hardware store. It was a grocery store first, I guess, and then later it was a hardware store. The building in the corner of the Methodist church was a furniture store. It was a drugstore, and then a lady had unclaimed baggage in it, and then the church got it. And the Methodist church, the first church was the Pine Bark Church. Of course, it was a wood structure. Now I think there's a picture in here
I got a picture of Grandmother McCollum as a child
at the church.
at the church. Her
Okay,
Sunday school class.
I have seen a picture made from the cemetery behind the Methodist church with an old hearse. Now this would have probably, I don't know if it was motorized or if it was horse-drawn, and you can see the side of the church in that picture. And it was just a wood square building. Yes.
Did you have family chores?
My dad was a barber, and we had the land where I live, and he didn't really farm. But when my brothers got big enough, they had corn crops and had some cotton. And I have carried water to the guys working in the field, and I have picked a little cotton, but if I had to live off of it, I'd be in trouble because I can't eat cotton. We didn't have, we had a cow when I was little, but I didn't have that much to do. Worked in the garden maybe a little, but not much. Yes.
Did you receive an allowance?
Quarter maybe on Saturday night. Go to Crossville to the theater, eat a hamburger, go to the movie, and have a Coke.
All
With a
for
quarter.
1 quarter?
Just about it. It might cost a dime to get into the theater. And oh, by the way, the theater later was a roller rink. Skating rink. Sure was. Yes,
Did you have a nickname?
my nickname's Pat. Yeah, I guess. Well, nickname. No, everybody called me Pat. The girls, when I played softball, called me Granny. Because I was older than anybody that played on the ball team.
That's what I call my grandmother.
Well, I'm not a grandmother, but I could be. Yes.
Who were your friends when you were growing up?
Who are some of your best friends?
My best friends. Okay. Frida Coker. Kay Johnson. Kay Williamson is a little older than I am, but we've been friends for years. Miss Hayes came the other day. We were friends. Now let Ms. Peake and Ms. Dixon
That work up in the office?
that are in the office, Mr. Burt's office in the front office up there. My great granddaddy is their great granddaddy. Their daddy is my first cousin. And Tommy, their daddy, Mr. Griffin, and I have lived close to each other for all these years, and we used to get outside in the summertime, and the person outside hollered like Tarzan, and the other that answered, we'd meet in the woods and play all day.
What was school like for you as a child?
School like that.
I loved it.
We've already talked about
Yeah,
school, darling.
I
You need to
love
pay
school.
attention.
Yeah, I like my teachers, and hey, it was fun. I'd go back today. Y'all let me come and
Yeah.
go to school with y'all?
Yeah.
Okay?
What was your profession and why did you choose it?
I didn't really choose it, but I worked up at DuPont at the nylon plant for 3.5 months. They had a big contract and hired a bunch of people, and I worked about 3.5 months. They finished the contract and sent us home. And I went to work for the Army as a civilian over at Redstone Arsenal at Huntsville. I worked over there 30 years and 3 months. I carpooled or drove back and forth for 14.5 years. Then I bought a house, stayed over there. And I've been retired nearly 22 years, I guess. So if I make it, it won't be long till I'll have retired longer than I work. And if you can believe this, I remember what I made when I started to work. I couldn't tell you a cent of what I made when I retired. When I went to work in 1956, I made $2,960 a year. I paid 37 cents a gallon for gas. Bought a new car. Hey.
It was always cute back then.
Uh-huh. It was.
Veronica, you had a question?
What's the popular clothes back then?
Should we talk about that?
Well, the guys wore what they call peg pants, narrow pants. I'd give it anything if I had a picture of Rick Reagan, our band director. He wore his pants down here on his hips. They were pleated and came down real little at the ankle and had cuffs on them. He had him a chain, you know. He was standing about the 50-yard line one time on the football field when we still had that old wooden fence. And we didn't do something right at practice. And he grabbed a baton and threw it to the other end of the ball field. He was unhappy with us. He didn't say anything, just was unhappy. But I'm trying to think if I had any other pictures. I don't think I did. But you see, here is a writing book. And it shows how to do exercises on the back of that book. They don't teach penmanship anymore, do they? Oh. Let's see, we've talked about the school, talked about the feeder schools and the church. One of my great uncles was born in the post office because the post office was in the home like I showed you a while ago. Remember? Any more questions?
Jose, you got a question?
Put your hand down. Let me talk. How old are you?
I'm 72 years old.
Awesome. Same age as my granny. And my other granny.
All right, Joel.
What type of food did you eat?
We had chicken and beans and potatoes and beef and we had good food. Had
That's what I have.
all kinds of food. Had salmon patties and biscuits, all that kind of good stuff. Okay?
Did you save your money or spend it? Did you save your money?
She said she spent it at the movie theater. Allowance.
We didn't really. We didn't have that. Excuse me. We didn't really have that many things to spend their money on. We didn't go to town, that much. But I always had what I needed, Oh, here.
They didn't go to the store and go shopping.
We didn't
like
run
kids
to the
do
dollar
today.
store. We didn't have one. Hey, we didn't have stores. Now, Mr. and Ms. Cook had a grocery store. And Ms. Cook taught school here. And they didn't have any children. But I've been told that when I went to their store, that I always got candy. She would always give me candy when we went to the store.
Did your family have special tradition?
Not really. No. I guess our biggest holiday was Christmas. And of course we always had a Christmas tree and family came home and all that. We didn't do Thanksgiving. After we were grown, after my family and kids were grown, my brothers liked to hunt. So they'd go hunting with a bunch of guys. So when I got big enough, I said, well, I'm not going to sit at home. I'm going hunting with you. So I started going hunting with them. I used to kill more rabbits than they did. Any more? Yes.
Who were your friends when you were growing up?
Yeah, we talked about that,
Oh
but
goodness, some of
but,
y'all weren't listening.
all of my classmates were my friends. We had a good time, and we have a reunion. We have a class reunion every year, and just have a good time when they all get there.
Did you have any hobbies?
Hobbies? hobbies?
My best, and still today, read. I read 4 or 5 books a week. Sometimes one in a day. If you, yeah, but, well, some of them are pretty good size. Some of them pretty thick. And I told you I played softball, you know, for 26 years, and we went all over to play. Yes.
What was your house like?
My house, it was built in the 19, don't remember. But I'm living in the same house I was born in. And it has 3 bedrooms, kitchen, dining room, living room. And I just had a new top put on it this year.
I think a couple of our speakers have told about they remember when they got electricity, because a lot of people around here didn't have it then. I think that's kind of what they're wondering.
We had electricity from the time I can remember, but I remember some of my relatives didn't have electricity. And we'd go to their home and they'd have the lamps and fireplace, and they'd have an ice box. And they'd go to the ice house. There's one at Albertville, maybe one at Collinsville. But they'd go to the ice house and buy a big block of ice and put it in their ice box. But now, all the people didn't have one. Just the wealthiest folks. But now like I said, we had electricity. But now, hey, we had a wood stove. We burned wood, and it had coils in a water reservoir thing. And we had hot water, you know, had a tank and had hot water. The old vehicles, the A models and T models, the mountain where you go off to Collinsville, sometimes some of the cars would not pull up the mountain, and they'd have to turn around and back up the mountain. They'd have to back up because they wouldn't pull the mountain. Yes.
How much is stuff back then?
You could get a can of salmon for 25 cents. Probably a box of crackers for a dime. Food was not expensive then. And, but a lot of people had gardens and canned their food. And they'd kill hogs and a beef in the fall. But they ate good. People ate good. What else?
Looks like you've answered all their questions.
Yes.
What? Did your family have special traditions?
I already talked about
Yeah,
that.
you didn't listen.
No.
Christmas would have been our big thing. We
don't
always had a Christmas tree and had family come home for Christmas.
No, out there. Y'all are asking some of the same questions. Unless somebody's got something new, we're not going to ask any more questions. Have you got something new, Veronica? Okay.
How much family members have you had?
My mother and dad, and I had 3 brothers. And one of my brothers died a few years back, but they all played football out here, went to school here, graduated here. And one of my brothers lives here in town. and he's 83 years old. So he remembers a lot of things. The bridge, I call it bridge, over this little branch down here on Justice Street, he helped build it when he was a teenager. And let's see. Well, when I went to work at the Arsenal over at Huntsville, I'd have to leave early in the morning, of course. And when I first started working, I would not see or meet a car on my way to Albert. But when the chicken plants went in business, you know, when they started and all that, then traffic really got busy then. But for a long time, I was on the road by myself.
Did you ever get married?
No, I didn't. I ran just as hard as I could. Any more?
How old were you when you got your first job?
I was about 18 or 19 years old when I went to work at UPonn up in Chattanooga. Bought a car, I think it was a Power Glide Chevrolet, and I believe this was a 51 or 51 Chevrolet. 51 or 52 Chevrolet. Power Glide Chevrolet. Oh man, that was so nice. 0 to 60 in 30 minutes.
It would be awesome back then.
Huh?
I bet it would be awesome back then.
Well, it was all right. It was wheels. Yeah. We had our first band concert. Let's see. No date. The Crossville School Band, only having been organized last fall, presented its first annual concert in high school auditorium. Tuesday night, April the 25th. Okay? There's the first band. Yeah.
That's a picture I think you showed us.
I-
First uniforms.
No,
Make a copy of some
no,
of those.
honey, this is,
Oh.
this is,
That's band, not the
That's-
first uniforms, the
yeah,
first
that's
band.
just the band.
I'll have to bring this book to school one day and show them.
Oh.
That's a big group too, I guess,
Yeah.
back then, 46 members.
Yeah, that's a big band.
No, 46 Crossville seniors
Oh.
share 1950 graduation honors.
Oh, that's
But, any more questions? Oh. I was in a business the other day, and the guy asked me how they got Justice as the name of the street out here in front of the school. The Justice family lived on the corner of these school grounds at Justice Street and Highway 68. And he donated the land for the school. So that's the reason that street's named after the Justice family.
Well, we'd like to thank you for coming to talk.
Thank
I've enjoyed it.
You didn't share it.
Oh,
All right. I want to stick around for a few minutes.
you go ahead.
Let's line up for break. Let me that picture show us too. She might have had one, we just never saw it, but I'm sure.
Well, I don't know now.
Alright, let's go.
But, see,
I'll be out there in just a few minutes. I'll head on out there. No, you don't need your backpack, you're going to break.
Across the country, that's how, and this was written in '63. Now, you know,
I know, I mean, I'm.
No, you're going back here and get first. Right now, you need to head on the break. I'll be out there in a few minutes.
okay,
I ain't been in Crossville too often in years.
well,
You said what?
Redola taught me. But her
What?
mother and daddy lived down here in
Waste all of
Overdose.
it. What?
Redola's mother and daddy lived down in Pasco. He took a calendars and taped it together
For both of us.
and very
But not
properly
in sense. We're gonna share.
And I know I've got it, but I don't know right now. But anyway, he could tell some stories. Of course, he lived
I don't need some.
in Italy, you know. But this is pretty neat.
Do you remember Trinity?
What?
See, Tommy's told us a few things about, see, you know, he died when Rhonda was 6 months old, so none of, they don't remember it.
Yeah,
I heard him as a pistol.
he was, absolutely.
I heard that's where, I mean, Ronnie's a lot like his daddy. And when Austin,
Exactly.
when my little boy was little, Tommy used to say, you're just like your granddaddy Gene. Because Austin would cut up, you know, and Jane said, I'd love to hear somebody tell me about granddaddy. You know, we don't hear stories. Of course, Grandmother McCollum, you know, she was so humble, she wouldn't say nothing about nobody.
Hey, listen, she wouldn't talk about
I've never heard that woman say a negative thing in all my life.
No.
But yeah, we got to see some of her old, that picture
So
somewhere.
G.W. Justice, one of the early residents, important to history of Crossville. And see, my great-great-granddaddy named Crossville because of all the crossroads.
Yeah, well, see, are they not, now the Copelands, you know,
Well, now,
are
wait a minute.
related.
This is James A. Copeland,
Okay.
all right? His sons was A.C., Sam, and the girls were Sugar Crumley, and golly, I'm having a single moment. But yes, hey, the fiddle that he played, Osmer had it. Okay?
Yeah, see, it's amazing to hear all this.
Yeah.
I mean, to think back. Is that a picture of the school when it was first
No.
built? No.
Now this is Center Point School.
Oh, okay.
The feeder schools, see that, down here was the back of the school that burned. See, it was sitting down here. And of course, that's a picture of kids at the old block building. And I've got the whole hotel.
That was it. Huh?
And it was across the street from town hall. And there used to be a theater there. And there was a barber shop on the left side of the theater, in front, and a cafe on the other side.
See, I mean, I have memories of coming over here to Dover Hardware when I was a kid.
Okay?
I mean, that's the earliest I remember ever coming to Crossville. I grew up at Grove Oak, or
Right.
Black Oak.
Okay.
Went to school at 5.
Okay.
You know, that I can remember going, you know, my aunt is Sarah Barnard. Do you know Sarah? Sarah and Jimmy Barnard?
Yes, I know who you're talking
Well, that's
about.
my mama's sister, and I come over here a lot with her to the dollar store, the dime store, and
This is football field, where it is now. And Stanfields lived at the other end, a wooden fence, and old wooden bleachers, and see how.
what year was that? Don't
It's
say,
not
does
got
it?
a year.
So we got the big,
It
the
was on
lights.
the wooden poles, but see, when they first had a football field, They didn't have bleachers, didn't have fence, didn't have nothing, and you just stood up to watch it, and they played no afternoon.
That's what grandmother was telling me. You just run back and forth wherever side
You
of the field
just
there's all
watch
watching.
that run up. This is made in the front of the school, and there was a house right down there where the them lived. And the principals lived in it,
Oh.
and across the street was a blacksmith shop. Look at that house right
Well, it looks like Crossville's always had a good sized band.
there. Well, they have.
See, my daughter's in the band, so that
Yeah.
looked like that would be, they would, that she would be interested in.
This little block building. And our first lunchroom was upstairs. And in the band room, Kenny Cobb. His family he had sisters older than he. And when they got old enough to go to college, they moved to Jacksonville so the girls could go to college. But Kenny went to school at Geraldine and would come over here and play in the band. Okay? He would sit in the window upstairs and sit there and play his trumpet. Hey, this is the front of the old gym in the entrance right there that burned.
Lord, it's funny looking back at those uniforms.
Hey,
Look how
listen,
short
look
they're
how
short.
Hey, listen. This is the inside of the gym. And this.
No. Oh, Coach Mac.
Mm-hmm.
He looked like he thought he was something standing there.
This is Union Grove School.
So that was a school, I mean, like
Union,
on that end of the,
yeah, and then when they consolidated, they brought them by truck. And I've got a picture of some ladies that lived at the hotel on Kempsey. But you don't know these people.
well, I'm sure I probably don't.
There's Lord Life. Eason Dobbs, his brother and sister. That's Aline Head. Died back when she was about 16 years old. She was mother's cousin. Oh, that's one of mother's cousins. That's one of mother's cousins. You know the Talberts. You've heard of the Talberts?
Probably.
That was Miss Talbert. Well, she was maybe her to start with. J.C. Hearn, or older than one. I don't know which one. I think I've got some names with these folks on another picture. Somebody made a mark right there at the. But this is the old school. It's that, okay, the Gaines Egg Farm down there, that's that house.
Pat, which one's this one? Is that the Crossville High School?
That's the first school. This is one of them. This is the old gym. And the blocks for this building were made in the
What was this thing? Blood tester trap, what's that?
for chickens.
Oh, okay, I said that. Oh, okay.
For chickens. It
Went with that.
went with that, I'm sure it did. Wooden bleachers. Byron Shipp.
I know Byron. Are you? Is that your?
That's my uncle.
Is your uncle? Well, see
Now
now.
Byron, somebody, who was it stopped by here? Sid Holcomb. He was telling me he went and talked to Byron the other day, and Byron was telling a story about his, one of Sid's aunts or somebody, or uncles or somebody that was, a relative was in jail of his, and talked about how you could raise the roof and climb out through the top. I just got the story from Kara.
That was one of my relatives.
So, Kara was telling me some story about one of her relatives too, so maybe she got them combined because she was trying to tell me what Sid had told her, what he had heard from, so I got it fourth.
Evidently, there was another jail besides the Little Rock jail.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but see, I don't remember that. And if it's not that one that they're talking about, I don't know which one it is. But Mother's uncle was a tall fella. And he was bad to drink. They put him in jail. And he had raised the roof somehow or other and get out and be back on the street before they got out. Hey,
But yeah, now Byron, Miss Shipp was my teacher at school. She was my
Nadine.
Nadine. She was
All
my
right.
she was my mama's home ec teacher, and then she taught me in home ec when I was in high school.
All right, well, that's Byron. Merle, you know my brother Merle.
Well, I don't.
Well,
Well,
you know that taught you. You
no,
know,
I didn't go to school here.
Well,
so.
he's the one that's 83 now. And that looks like Donald Griffin. Now,
Don.
Don?
Yeah, he's coming to talk one day,
He
next
is?
month, I think, yeah.
well, see, he was pilot. And he'd fly in. My uncle was the chief of the control tower at Atlanta Airport. And Don would fly into the airport and taxi up to the tower, get out and go talk to Lester. And now you can't get in a mile of it.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you know, yeah. Here's the first year we had uniforms and this we had
I said,
law.
boy, she's striking the pose, whoever she is.
That Sheila Hearn, not Sheila.
Those little kids, those young kids
They
in
were
the band.
the mascots. Hearn, Sheila Hearn's sister. I can't think of her name. And Jane Wade. Skeet Wade. You ever heard of Skeet Wade?
Know some Wades, but
Okay, Williams. You know Sue Byers? Edward Byers lives in the big brick house in Middle Tennessee.
I know the name. But
Well, that's her sister. Donna Griffin? No.
well, that's you, and then I saw you point yourself out.
Yeah. Okay, there's Ken Cobb right there. Don Gilbert, Wyman Willoughby.
Mhm.
I gotta get up there, my kids, they're gonna be driving Kara crazy, but I
Well,
really want
just-
these.
I'll put
Who's
this stuff.
this? What's this one?
This is a class here at school.
But we don't know-
Oralite was the teacher. Or she might have been in school at the time. That's Lily Talbot, I think. Oralite, Lily Talbot. That's one of, you know, Deer Crow. David.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of his aunts right there.
Or a light,
Oralite.
Light.
Yeah. Or a Dobbs Light. Now, I've got some names with some of these in some of my other stuff.
Okay.
Here's one of the football team. You can see the fence, pretty good. And that house was back here in these trees. That's my brother Billy, I think. That's Jenny. No, I'm wrong. That's Billy, my brother. James McDaniel, Jackie's brother.
Mhm.
One for Joan, Chilla Jones, look.
Yeah, not sure.
Make them do this on you.
Pat, I'm sorry that
You-
we got kind of cut short today, but I'd love to
You-
look at some more of this stuff and maybe get some
Well, now, I've got some more stuff that you might
more
wanna look
copies
at.
a little bit later.
Later.
I would definitely love to look. I'm gonna have to write here before my kids.
Yeah,
You
I
go.
I gotta
You
go to
go.
my
I'll-
next class too.
Well,
I
I'll
enjoy
get,
looking at those.
I'll get this stuff up and pull the door too.
I'm sure those kids, it's hard for me to comprehend
Well, hey.
what
you
it's
can't-
like. I can imagine what these kids are trying to think, you know, they don't.
Well, it's hard to grasp it if you
Yeah.
haven't been there.
Well, you know, I mean, I grew up with a wood burning stove in the, I mean, you know, it had to stack wood and
Hey,
my kids don't even understand that.
no, they know what?
And I have pulled cotton. I was a little bitty thing. I remember little bitty tiny thing. My granddaddy had cotton out behind the house, and I just got there thinking, you know, think I was helping.
Right, well,
Yeah.
hey, if I don't know if you've heard me say it, but I said I picked a little cotton. But hey, if I'd have had to depend on it, I'd been up
Yeah.
great.
Well, I mean, my papa plowed the garden with the mules till he couldn't plow the garden no more.
Oh.
I mean, that kind of, you know, well, Becky was talking about the inside of the outhouse.
Yeah,
I said, about half of my childhood, Mama and Papa had an outhouse, and we had to go use it like that.
a path and a, what do they call it, a path and a two-holder?
I mean, I remember when they built their bathroom, I don't remember my dad and his brothers building a septic tank. I mean, you know, so I remember all that kind of stuff. My kids have
This
died
belongs
these
here,
days.
that's not mine. Well, hey, it's, well, it's, like I say, it's just hard to comprehend if you hadn't been there.
And you know, after grandmother died, we started going through some stuff. They found her dress that she was baptized in. John's got it framed, hanging on the wall in there.
Blondell Croft, David's mother,
Mm-hmm.
wrote a little history of the Baptist church. And she said the church was built on Franklin Street. Not true. This fronted 68. Okay? Now they've turned inside the church around and opened it to Franklin Street. I don't remember what year, but they did that. Here's the dedication for the new church. There was that house on the corner. That's that house at the church. Right there, that house. Oswald and directed the choir. Jerry Lynn. You know Jerry Lynn? No. Okay. Tommy Griffin's mother. My grandfather Copeland, my grandmother Copeland, my great-grandmother Hendricks, Lois' mother, and let's more. We're charter members of the church. And Lois, of course, was
That's probably the first time I've ever seen her without a hat on.
really, well, okay.
She's always got that hat on every time I see
Well.
her. Ooh, I know Rhonda'd like to see that picture. She'd have some stories to tell.
Now here it tells some of the stuff. Yeah. Union Grove Church was destroyed in a windstorm. 1936, when they went into the association. See, this is part of hers. This first building was erected on Franklin Street, but that's not right. Oh, here they are. This Mr. and Ms. A.B. Copeland, and my mother, Tommy Griffin's mother, my great-great-granddaddy, my great-great-grandmother, their son. Now Sally Cook was a sister to my great-great-granddaddy. No, my great-granddaddy. Miss Donnie, the little white house on the corner across from the diner.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Donnie Owens, Miss Donnie T. lived there for years. I knew Bessie and Vera. Mr. King is the one that killed himself over discrepancy in the bank. And I've been to her house in Gadsden. She has since died, but I've been to her house. J.M. Carnes. You know J.M. This is J.M.'s dead. But J.M. Carnes and Robbie Carnes live across down by Baptist Church, you know where Butch Gardner used to live. A little house in the woods right there,
Thanks, so.
behind Steve Dewberry.
Mm-hmm.
All right, across from the Butch Gardner house is where J.M. and Robbie Carnes live. And Mr. Carnes was one of the delivering people, and the post office was in his house one time. That up there behind the bank. She was a relative. I knew Arlena Hubbard. I knew the Spences. In fact, Lola Spence. Annie Justice lived in the house.
I need all B team football players and cheerleaders to come to the front of the school at this time.
Okay.
Thank you.
See you. All right.
What doing?
Put me in.
I can't. Today was fun. Pretty fun. Especially the lollipops. My sister helped on me.
Bye. See ya.
We need all second grade classes to attention, please. Fourth grade, come to the auditorium. All fourth grade classes coming to the pep rally, come to the auditorium.
No, dummy, you're my ass. Get out. Let's go. Okay. Fifth grade, come to the auditorium. All fifth grade that's not over here, come to the auditorium. was doing it just like that. And this was Jasmine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Jasmine. I can't remember. Jasmine just has
Yeah, I don't wanna do it.
Sometimes she just
Somebody would do it.
Are we doing Alabama?
Wind down. Wind down. Settle down. Get in your seat. Let's see. Movie, nothing.
How come you're getting the projector on there?
Do we always watch movies when they have the projector on?
No. Where'd you work?
One good.
I never know what wrong with you.
No.
Oh, do you want a bet?
No, we're not. Can you go in? He does. This way. Oh, that's why you didn't go. Are those your shoes? Yeah, don't start come to school, but
The cheers. I think you get back in the cheers.
This was the Crossville High School graduating class of 1929. Graduated that went to school here at Crossville, but it was when it was not this school, when it was the other school, before this one was built. That other school that she showed us.